What up, peeps? It's your girl, Dash, coming back to you for all takes. Today I'll be doing all things movie news. Now, normally I wait till the weekends, but sometimes I like to discuss stuff if I have the time. I like to try to bring it to you guys a little sooner than later. And there's a couple of things I really wanted to just kind of get off my chest and talk about it because I don't think I can wait till the weekend. So with that said, let me go ahead and jump into it, you guys. One of those things is, of course, a couple of these will be pertaining to reboots. You already know how I feel about that, but it is what it is. One of them I'm actually excited about because it's going to kind of take off from where the original movie had started. So not even a reboot of sorts. And it's about Robocop. Now, I had talked about this earlier. I want to say earlier, maybe spring, summertime. I discussed how Neil Blomkamp was attached to direct this one. Now, with this particular one, like I stated, he wanted to leave off kind of where the one in 1987 did, which was the original one starring Peter Weller. Now, when I was discussing this, word was out that Neil was trying to woo Peter Weller to come on board in sorts if he might consider doing that. Now, it is now been brought to attention that he is not going to be able to do that, and I'm kind of bummed, but it is what it is. Now, the thing with that also I had to play in mind is, okay, what aspect of the movie would he be in? I'm not thinking he wants to really put on that full suit of whatever they put him in. I don't know how heavy, if it's light, whatever, but I know this time soon it's probably hot, whichever. Furthermore, and this is not an ageism thing, he is in his 70s, so I think he's 71 if I'm not mistaken. Now, I know this has been recently a resurgence of, some iconic, characters coming back reprising roles of the original cast members. Like, of course, we saw Jamie Lee Curtis coming back, as Laurie in Halloween. We know that, of course, Arnold Schwarzenegger and Linda Hamilton will be back in Terminator 6 coming out next year. And then word is still out, because I talked about it around a little before Halloween, about Robert Englund possibly feeling like he has a little bit left in him to do, maybe one more, Nightmare on Elm Street. So somewhat of a resurgence of these type of things have been happening as of late, and that was kind of where I was feeling like he might consider it. Even if it was not in that role, they could find some sort of capacity to put him in there somewhere. I would prefer him to be in it, like I said, if he was a chief, but the facial, it would kind of take away from that if they're doing that. See, that's going to be an issue as well. Wondering, okay, if it's leaving off from kind of going to a sequel, so to speak, and almost kind of bypassing the second one, I will be honest, I like the second one just as much as I love the first one. The third one was some garbage. It is what it is. When he's flying in the air, I was just like, I was not feeling that. I'm not even here for that. But yes, that's another thing. His face, of course, is very present in the way he looks when he's not wearing the full, headgear, as Robocop. So that plays a part as well. So we're going to have to see how they're going to do that. Now I'm curious, now that we know Peter Weller will not be attached, what does that mean? Who's going to be, brought on? Now, you all remember back in 2014, they did kind of a reboot of Robocop starring Joel Kinnaman. It was okay for what it was. I know it had him, it had Samuel L. Jackson, Michael Keaton, and Gary Oldman. It was okay, but it just was not the same compared to the one that came out in 87 with Robocop. I just love the original one so much so. That's why I said some things just should just be left alone, but they're always trying to do those type of things, because they feel like so many years have passed. It's just kind of the thing now lately as of in Hollywood. This feel this need. I don't know if it's to, appease the new crop of, kids coming up, whatever and all, as if the old school don't still, love some good genuine movies. But that's just my, take on that. But yes, right now, since we know now he's not, I'm looking forward to seeing who's going to be cast. And of course, the main role, I wonder if it's going to be, he's going to have a sidekick, of course, his partner, how that's going to pan out, whichever. Are they going to show anything in regards to pertaining to the past, like his family he had to leave behind when he became this robot? You remember he had a wife and a son. All these things play a part, and I'm just curious. And of course, who's going to be the villain? Gotta know who's going to be the villain, because in the first one was good, second one was really good, so I'm really looking forward to that. So you guys, when I know more about that, you already know you're going to know more. So, but moving on. Also, getting a little bit more information about a Monster Hunter movie. That's the one starring Mila Jovovich. There's a picture that actually was released, and it shows her. Looks like she's running, and it looks like it's showing Tony Jaa. I'm excited about him being attached. And I do know that Ron Perlman's attached, but for right now, for some reason, his part is very secretive. I don't know exactly in what capacity he's in the movie right now. So I'm curious to know more as that comes on. But I love that we get to see a little bit more of a picture, of this. I'm looking forward to this. just from the look of it, from the picture, I'm still getting a vibe of a little bit of Resident Evil when I look at her when she's in all full, garb of what she looks like in this particular setting right now. In this, I know it's going to showcase a little bit more than that because I know T.I.'s in this, I know Megan Good's in this as well. So I'm looking forward to seeing the full take of this actual movie, especially once we see a trailer. We'll get a teaser. This won't be out until sometime late next year, so maybe closer to midsummer, late summer, whichever, and that's what I'm looking forward to, hopefully seeing something. Probably by spring we'll probably get a little taste of something for the movie. I'm a fan of Mila Jovovich. I remember her when she did, the first time I remember her when she did an episode of Married with Children. And I loved it. She's the new girl in town, exchange student, whatever. She takes Kelly's thunder. That was such a great episode. I just love that show. So, and from there, I kind of followed a little bit of her work, of course, when she did a couple of different movies. I know they did a sequel to Brooke Shields' movie. God, I cannot remember the name of it. I might post the poster of it up here. You all probably comment about that in the thing, whichever. Blue Lagoon. Yes, there it is. Boom. So yeah, but yes, since then I've been a fan, and I've loved how she's grown over the decades of her work, whichever, just watching her just do her thing. And I love how she does lots of movies where she kicks ass. Excuse my language, but yes, she's awesome like that. So again, I'm looking forward to this. I'm looking forward to seeing Tony Jaa do his damn thing too. I'm such a fan of his work as well. So yes, and definitely knowing more about what Ron Perlman is. Now I don't have a date. Doesn't give me an actual sound date for the release date, whichever. So like I said, if we get some more screenshots from the set, if we find anything more about what's happening with T.I., Megan, Ron Perlman, and an actual date, I will let you guys know. So I'm looking forward to knowing more about that. Now for Birds of Prey, I'm here, of course, more. We have a title now, a better title. I'm actually excited because we're getting, of course, definitely word of when the actual film starts shooting. Now, they talked to Mary Elizabeth Winstead because you already know she plays Huntress. I'm excited to know more. Now, she actually was interviewed for Bionic Buzz, and she noted this, and I want to read some of what she said during an interview for it. She says, it's sort of a spinoff of Suicide Squad. It kind of follows Harley Quinn, which is Margot Robbie's character, of course, you guys know from those films, and sort of a girl gang that she puts together. I play, she says, it's Huntress, and we've got Black Canary by Smollett, played by Janae, and then of course Rosie Perez, who's going to be playing Detective Montoya, and then we have Ewan McGregor, who's playing Black Mask. I'm looking forward to this. It's really a fun cast. We haven't started shooting yet, but we are starting shooting in January. I cannot wait. So I'm excited about that. We have a now official January, because I kept thinking it was either going to be January or February, but it's coming, because then that gives them enough time to finish probably right before summer, and then you have the rest of the year to definitely get everything in regards to if it's any sort of CGI, whatever, any extra shoots that need to be done, done, reshoots, whatever, because it comes out in February of 2020. So I'm definitely excited to seeing this. I'm looking forward to them finally. Like I said, I'm dying to see more female-led characters in regards to superheroes, in regards if it's Marvel or if it's DC. So it's about time, and I just love that it's getting on. I know we already have Captain Marvel coming out, but I'm just love that it's continuing on from there. Of course, Wonder Woman, can't go wrong with that, and just seeing this happen, and I'm expecting them to definitely hopefully do good, because they have all this time to get it together so it doesn't do bad. I really wanted to do awesome at the theater. So but yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm just looking forward to seeing some shots from production, whatever, like they did, like I said, for Mila Jovovich. Of course, I've seen her with Tony Jaa, running whatever from God knows what. I want to see some shots of seeing Rosie as a detective. I want to see scenes of Ewan McGregor, in full case of Black Mask, with the face. I want to see it all. So I'm excited for this movie, and I'm just glad DCU's kind of doing their thing. So I'm looking forward to that, you guys. So moving on. Now, one thing I'm not going to talk about that's not a reboot, but I'm looking forward to, because he's continuing on, is Tom Cruise talking about Impossible 7. Now, I don't care. I know it's going to happen. Mission Impossible 6 Fallout was awesome. I gave that thing a 10. It was great from beginning to end. One thing you can always rest assured, a lot of people are like, he has to be fully insured because he puts his body in harm's way, and that is honestly key. I love that it gives it a good storyline, so it doesn't feel like they're only giving us a lot of the action sequences with him and then showing no regard for the actual storyline. So it makes it feel like it's a good flow between both. Everything's even killed, whichever, and everybody's just enjoying themselves. Trust and believe me, when I went to see it twice, that audience was packed. We were loving it. It was great. I mean, just everything down to that bathroom scene, the motorcycle scene, the chase, with the helicopters, colliding, all that good stuff. You can't go wrong with Tom Cruise, because I love that he does do that, and people respect him for the fact that he does his own stunts to the point where he gets hurt. You all remember the scene when he jumps across the building to another building. He actually hurt, I think, broke his ankle or whichever, and it kind of stopped production, because in the midst right now he's actually working on Top Gun Maverick. Now that's what I want to discuss. Now they spoke with Christopher McQuarrie, who actually did Mission Impossible 6, whichever, about the possibility of a 7. Tom Cruise has a couple ideas he's trying to draw for, of course, storyline, and of course, in regards to that, it came up when he spoke with Collider, and this is what he says. He says, I can tell you Tom already has a lot of really big ideas for a possible upcoming Mission Impossible 7, world topping SHIT. I'm not trying to fully cuss on here, and I'm down for that. Now, what I want to know is this. Now, there's nothing written in stone yet that he's come on board to direct the next one, but if he's listening to him and he's, liking what he's hearing, then we might get it. Now, I know they've been talking about him possibly, and this is just out there, about possibly doing a Green Lantern, movie with it, whatever and all. They threw that out there where McCoy might be attached to that. I don't foresee that happening. It's a possibility, but I doubt that. I know they throw out Tom might be involved. I don't know. It's not like he said no. I haven't heard anything being discussed about this, but if they're considering doing this, that's awesome. I don't know what McQuarrie has going on right now with the movies, if anything, since they finished doing press earlier in the summer for this movie prior to that. So I haven't heard anything that he's working on as of right now. So he might have something in process right now while Tom is working on Top Gun Maverick, but that movie is coming out in 2020, and then that means if they're considering it, that means next year they might start after that. He might be going right into that, and then that means that would have to come out honestly in 2021, you guys. So I don't know. It depends, because that's one thing about Tom. He has one movie, once it wraps, he starts in the next one. He never stays. Not to say it like this, but he never really has downtime. He always goes almost from one production to another. So we'll have to see. I'm hoping they're going to work on one. Like I said, a lot of people are like, oh, it becomes repetitive. Same thing like with Fast and Furious and all that. You make it fun. Yes, it can be very cliche after a while, and it becomes kind of done, whatever and all that. But people still go to see these. These movies are still raking in the money, and the people are liking what they're seeing. It's a movie. It's, in fantasy. You just want to enjoy it. But you definitely want to make sure you're giving everybody what they want. You got them out here spending that money. So if he can bring it, and he brings back some of our, our loving cast that we love from the previous ones, then this is a no-brainer. So I'm looking forward to hearing more about this, and I hope that they are planning to do a 7, because I'm definitely will be there day one. It's not even a question, especially after 6. There's no way I would definitely miss that. So, but moving on, you guys. Now, this is another remake, and I was just talking about Tom Cruise going from movie to movie. Now, this is something that is definitely in the works, but it's been in discussion since 2015, and that is Dwayne Johnson being attached to Big Trouble in Little China. A couple months back, I discussed this. I'm not too happy about that. I love the original that starred Kurt Russell, excuse me, and that came out in '86. Now, I'm going to tell you, starring him and Kim Cattrall. I don't know how I feel about that. I'm still kind of on the fence about that. Now, he made it known when I discussed this the last time that they had planned to kind of move the story along. If you all remember, I said how there's one of the creatures that basically got away, and he kind of hid on the back of the truck towards the end. Okay, that is doable. But then, okay, flash, present day, what happens with this creature? Are we going to go back to the time around that time it's supposed to look more like an 80s look? Then fine, then it can be considered, believable, whichever. Secondly, let's play a key. What is going to be the year for this stuff to look like it's supposed to, fit that time? So secondly, who else will be involved in this movie, whichever. Of course, all the other people who played in these movies are now, of course, much older. So I said that does play a part as well. So that means it would have to be a whole definitely new cast. I know they recently spoke with Kurt Russell recently in an interview, because he has a couple of things going on with himself, and he basically wishes Dwayne Johnson well. He said he already knows he's not going to be a part of it in any way right now, so that would not happen. You never know, they can change his mind, woo him, he might come on board in some form or fashion. That would be nice. That might get some people on board who might consider going to see it. Secondly, some people feel like they need to woo John Carpenter as well, because he is none too happy about this, and I have heard, a lot of whispers about how he does not feel all that great about it. Now, granted, with Halloween, he came back on board, be some sort of a producer, and also composed some music for it, And I'm glad, because that was nice knowing that, of course, Jamie Lee Curtis came back, whichever, and the director, and they liked what they saw, both her and John, and that's kind of where that good chemistry came together to make a good movie, which just been doing very well at the theater. So that does play a part, you know, and I think that that would help them to feel at ease about considering doing this. Now, for right now, it doesn't seem like it's happening because, of course, Dwayne Johnson has so many things going on right now. He has movie after movie after movie, of course, brand and stuff that he's building for his brand, his marketing, all these things he has going on. I will say this, I do love a lot of his movies. I am a fan of him. I respect his hustle, what he's trying to do to build his empire. But it feels like lately with a lot of movies, he keeps coming out maybe 2 or 3 movies a year, whatever. He's becoming oversaturated in Hollywood at the moment with all this stuff constantly. I can see if you have 2 movies, one something closer to the beginning of the year, maybe something towards the end, but when you just feel like you're having something that's always you and something whatever. Now, of course, Jumanji he did, you know, he did Skyscraper, which I saw. I actually appreciated that, you know. I don't know. He does have a couple things, you know, biopic he's going to work on. He's working on some other stuff right now. I think he was doing a movie with Emily Blunt that I think just kind of wrapped up, you know. So I don't know what else he has down the pike in movie-wise. So who knows? This might start getting some more traction maybe next year, because I know he is in the middle of doing a movie right now, but I don't know what the name of it is, whichever. But yeah, oh yes, and of course, Hobbs and Shaw. That's another one. I don't know if he's finished that. I think he still might be working on that, because they didn't say that film has wrapped yet. So I think that's the one he's still working with, that with Jason Statham and also Idris Elba. So we'll have to see. But I'll be honest with you, I'm just no. I would need to see who's directing it, and I need to see who else is going to be in it, and then I need a bigger understanding of what's the synopsis of it overall, not just okay, this creature end up on here and then what, it just, you know, it starts over, you know, all the things that happened from the first one or whatever with this one creature, you know, this was actual human being that was actually doing some of, you know, the evil, you know, putting people in a trance, using them, whatever. Not, yeah, it's just a whole bunch of stuff with that movie, whichever. It's such a cult classic. So yeah, I'm a little biased, so we'll have to see how that pans out. But just want to bring that to you guys. Tell me what you all think about that. I'm just curious how you all feel about that as well, about, you know, Big Trouble in Little China, of Dwayne Johnson being attached. You know, do you know, see yourself even considering it, or you're just like, man, nah, you ain't here for it. And right now, I'm still not here for it. So, but moving on. Now, speaking, another actor I love, well, he's not attached to this one, but it makes me think of him. I don't care. I'm still biased. Still Hellboy. I know it's starring David Harbour, and I'm fine for that. Now, I'm still in my feelings because recently Empire put out a little picture of him, you know, where it looks like him in the midst of running, like he's running to something or running from something. Don't know. Now, I don't know about you all, but I'm like, where is the damn trailer? Now, I know this comes out in April because it was first supposed to come out in January, and I was here for it because it would have just been that. And what else comes in January? Glass. And I was so excited for both of them. I can see both of them multiple times, whatever. But now it's been pushed to April. Yes, that was made aware come when they did New York Comic-Con. I'm still not understanding why we're not getting at least a teaser, and then maybe, you know, February get like a, you know, a trailer, or they're just going to give us a straight up trailer. I feel like we're going to get a straight trailer. I don't think we're going to get a teaser. I think after Christmas something's going to be released. It might be in the theaters, whatever. Then that would be nice. But it's just like all these little teases, literally, in regards to pictures or whatever, seeing posters, but still nothing. You know, and I'm not used to that because most of these movies that come out, whatever, are coming out, we'll get a teaser, then a trailer after a trailer after a trailer, and a TV spot. But for some reason with this one, they have so much faith in it that they just like, nah, bruh, we're going to make you wait. We're going to make you wait and give it to you in 2019. Like, I don't care what you want. I am salty because I love me some Hellboy. You already know because of Guillermo del Toro and Ron Perlman and Selma Blair. You know, I'm like, come on. So I first didn't want to be even down for this, but you know, David Harbour came in, Ron gave his blessing, and now I was like, okay, get over yourself, girl. Just go with it. I'm excited. They're gonna deal more with the source material from the comics in this one, and that was noted. When he spoke with the actual director for this, Neil Marshall, he stated this in an interview, and this was an interview prior to it coming out in January. So to let you know, they already had this interview kind of ready to maybe come out in their December issue. So he says it was always a case of when in doubt, go back to the source material. Because a lot of people were kind of interested in the fact of, how are they going to tell the story? Is it going to be similar to how they did with Del Toro, or are they going to do it a different way? He says some of the stuff is pretty sick because it's supposed to be considered more violent and bloody, you guys. More violent, more bloody. We weren't making it with handcuffs on. Like that. Don't get me wrong. That makes me very happy. I feel that rated R. I'm here for it. Again, I just want my trailer, so I'm hoping we'll get one soon, you guys, and then I'll shut my trap. I don't care. I want it, and I'll probably be happy and smiling all up in it, whatever. She's like, finally she can be quiet. I don't care. That's how I feel. So, but yes, the movie again comes out April 12th. So hopefully, like I said, we'll see something really shortly. I feel like we're going into December this weekend coming. So you never know. Like I said, we might just get like a little teaser, 1.5 minute, and then come January, February, we'll get a full trailer, and I'm gonna be down for it because I want to see David do his thing. I want to see Mila do her thing. That's gonna be really good. I'm so here for it, and I just love to see the Millas in this one as well. So, but okay, moving on, you guys. Now this is one that I'm none too happy about in regards to a reboot besides Big Trouble in Little China. Is the movie The Saint. Now, if you all recall, you remember the TV series, which started, between like the 30s and was it 50s? I noted this 30s and 60s, excuse me, with Roger Moore. Now, I do remember that one, seeing some of those, off and on, but I do remember the movie starring Val Kilmer, which was in 1997. Now, they're claiming this particular actor is in talks to do the reboot, and that is Chris Pratt. I'm gonna tell you, I'm not here for that. I'm not really vibing that. I think more so for the fact that when I envision him in this, I see it more for the comedic parts of it. Now, when Val Kilmer did it, he was definitely very poised and very serious at the time. He had an occasional little, comedic timing when he played one of the characters he would dress up as when he was being an imposter, like the professor with the receding hairline, glasses, and the goofy, teeth or whatever. That was funny, whatever. But most of the time, he was mostly in the serious, esque, whatever. Not to say Chris Pratt can't be, but most of the time I get a vibe of him being more in the comedic aspect of that. When you see him, when he made his debut, honestly, after The Office was when he did Guardians of the Galaxy back in 2014. Then, of course, became very well known. Then he, of course, became attached to Jurassic World. And then here we are, where he's just recently did, of course, another game, Guardians of the Galaxy 2, whichever. 3's up in the air right now in regards to who's going to direct. And then, of course, he did Jurassic World, the second one, Fallen Kingdom. Now, I know he's attached to the Lego movie, the second one is coming out very shortly, doing a voice, whichever. I'm just not sure how I feel about him doing this one. I think I need to see, of course, definitely the possibility of the director, because I don't have that listed, because I want to know, because I don't see who's going to be considered possibly, but I know it's in the writing stages at the moment. Secondly, who's going to play the female character in this one, whichever, and who might be a villain in this one. Now, is this going to open up for possibly of a franchise for him? Because Val Kilmer, of course, only did one. It did very well at the theaters. I went to see it. I enjoyed it. I have that on DVD. I'm assuming it's going to be another one he might, blow up so much that it might become a franchise. It can, because I thought the potential was there for Val Kilmer to do a second one. I was really mad when they didn't do a second one, because it really was good. I liked him and Elizabeth Shue in it. They did an awesome job. So I'm not sure what to think. Secondly, I'm going to be honest with you, I didn't really want him to do this one. I was really excited for him to do, Cowboy Ninja Viking. That's what I wanted. And I was pissed that they have, scrapped that, whichever. That pisses me off, because that one has so much potential there. I don't know what they were thinking, but again, he's just in talks, but I have a feeling he's going to do it, because it'll be something different for him not to consider himself getting typecast. Even though he's doing big budget, you still don't want to get typecast. You got to mix it up. There's no way you want to keep doing the same thing, whatever and all. It gets boring. And I know he wants to, mix it up a little bit so people can see he definitely has some range. That's one of the actors' dreams. They always want to mix it up so people can say, oh, well, she always does this. That's her niche, or that's his niche. So I can see from that standpoint. But doing all the different characterizations, changing up, his look, similar to how Val Kilmer did with all the different, disguises. I don't know. So comment below, you guys. I'm curious how you all feel about that, because I'm on the fence. I can change my mind. I have a right, just a little vent session on that, whichever, or a rant session, so to speak. So, but yeah, let me know what you all think. But yeah, I'm going to keep my eyes out on this particular story because I'm curious how that's going to plan out, whichever. So, but moving on for you guys. Now, the last one I want to discuss, and I'm excited about this one, is more information about Candyman. Now, you already know that Jordan Peele is attached, and he's definitely going to be the screenwriter for this, and I'm excited because you all have, ever since Key and Peele, he left and he started wanting to direct movies. He came out with that smash hit, some people call it sleeper, was Get Out. Get Out I saw 4 times, so I know the potential. It was awesome. And I'm just looking forward to his next movie that should be coming out sometime next year. Oh God, I don't know if it's February or March. I think it is March. And I'm looking forward to that because I know Winston Duke's in that. We have Lupita Nyong'o and some other people in that cast, whichever. And I think it's called Us. Looking forward to that. But this one, I'm definitely looking forward to. Even though at first I was just like, because I wanted to know if possibly in capacity Tony Todd might come in some form of fashion, just if he's in it, just as a quick walk on, whatever. That would be nice out of just respect and nostalgic purposes. But now we have a director. Her name is Nia DaCosta. Now I'm familiar with her. Excuse me, guys, because she did a movie called Little Woods with Tessa Thompson. Now, she's done a couple other little, documentaries and things of that nature. I know she did one in regards to the singer Kesha, whichever, and then some other things, where she was kind of like, an assistant to the director, whichever. But this is going to be the one that's going to seal the deal, I feel, for her. I'm excited for her to do this. That's some big shoes right there, because Jordan has faith that she can put her stamp on this, and him coming there, and he'll probably definitely be there of guidance, just not for writing the script, being there to kind of help in regards to, because this is not a genre she's known in or whichever, so she's hitting horror genre, so you gotta come correct, and I think having him will definitely help her. I can't wait to see who's going to be cast. That's going to be interesting. And, if you all recall, of course, Tony Todd, what's her name? Oh my gosh, Virginia Madsen being in this. I'm really looking forward to seeing this movie. Now, the date they have, and I had to note that, they're claiming they're doing this for a June 2020 release date. So that gives them ample time to get it right. And I'm actually happy. Everybody's like, oh, well, let it be 019. No, I don't want this baby rushed. This is a classic, cult classic as well. This thing is freaking creepy. I love it. I am here for it. So I want it to be right. And I'm looking forward to seeing, Jordan put his stamp on this, because yeah, this is one of those ones. Excuse me. He really has to put his stamp on it. Yeah, Get Out was something, totally different, new, whatever. No reboot, no remake, no reimaging. That was his own thing. This is something that has already been made, whichever. It was never a sequel made, so that means he has to truly, well, no, excuse me, let me get myself right. Right. So needless to say, if he's redoing this, he has to do it correctly. So I'm looking forward to that. So yeah, I just had to throw that out there, because when I heard the news earlier today, I was so gung-ho to discuss it, and just know that he has a female director for this. And like I said, it's not a lot of female directors I hear about that are attached to, big movie productions like this, whichever. And to be attached to this one, that's a good thing. And people won't be looking out and watching her, and I will be one of them, because if she does this well, she will definitely be on my radar, and I look forward to following her work and seeing what else she'll put out after she finishes doing this one. So, but you guys, that's all I've got for right now. As you all know, when I come up with some more movie news that comes across my eyes that I see that deems discussing with you guys, I will most definitely bring that to you. So I hope you all, again, comment below on any of the things I discussed. Let me know what you all think. And with that said, I will see you guys on the next movie news. You guys take care.